Hey guys, this is Darren from Manhattan Physical Therapy, continuing our series about preparing for a Spartan race or for a Tough Mudder. And here we're going through more exercises that are going to help us with more pulling exercises. So I have Brian and Hazira here from Equinox to help us to go over a couple of simple exercises that we can do. So what do we have on tap today?
So we're gonna do the landmine row, and we're just gonna walk through how you're gonna set up and pick it up. So Brian, you're gonna straddle the bar over here facing that way. And we're gonna go back to the hinge that we did earlier. So what you're gonna do is just put your hands on your hips. Yep, and you're gonna hinge back, really pushing back through the butt. Do you feel your hamstrings?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're gonna basically grab onto the handles. Yep, protract your shoulders and make sure when you're picking it up, your back stays straight. So stand up for me, Brian. See how straight his back is? Yep, and you're gonna hinge over when you're gonna start. So hinge over again. And what you're gonna do is really protract your shoulders, keeping that chest up, and pull the handlebars to your chest. There we go. Do you feel your back here?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Do that a few more times.
Excellent. So what are some cues that you would give them to make sure that they're on the right path when they're doing this exercise?
So I want them to really feel their hamstrings here and making sure their back is straight. And what I usually say is imagine like there's a credit card right here,
Okay.
right underneath their armpits,
Yeah.
making sure their arm stays down. And pulling the handlebar to your chest.
Pulling the handlebar to your
Yeah.
chest and making sure that your arms stay
Yeah,
down.
and chest up.
Chest up as well. Gotcha. So now, while we're here in this position, what are some common mistakes or miscues that we see when people are doing the row?
A lot of people start by picking it up wrong by rounding their back, and their back just stays rounded throughout the exercise. So yeah, let's just show a couple of.
Gotcha. So just
Picking it up.
even before we get into the row, they're already off cue there by having it rounded there.
And you see how his arms all flared out, like chicken wing arms? We don't want that.
Yeah, gotcha. So now, and that's where the cue of that we've gone over with the hip hinge and
Yeah.
making sure that we're rock solid with that pattern is going to help us to make sure that we're even starting this exercise correctly. Because how we start is going to matter how we go through the rest of our exercise. Any other common miscues or mistakes that we see as people are going through this exercise?
Their legs stay straight so they're not hinging through the hips at all.
Gotcha.
Back to rounding of the back. There we go. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And most of the time they're not engaging their back here. They're just pulling. They're just using their arms. Yep.
Yeah, gotcha. What is a way that we can help people not use their arms so much and use their back muscles a little bit more with this exercise?
Brian, can you get back into setup? So what we can do is keeping the grip soft. So instead of, set up. So instead of gripping onto the handlebar super tight, what you're gonna do is just let the handle hang in your fingers just like that. So that way you're not really tapping into your biceps when you're pulling through the lat.
Gotcha.
Yep, and exhale as you come up. There we go. So keeping it nice and soft in your hands.
So soft grip is going to help us not use our arms as much to make sure that we're using the back muscles as much because this is a back pulling exercise.
Yep, back to the intention.
Awesome. Intention. That's a common theme that we're talking about here, guys. Intention. Awesome. So awesome. We've gone over our double armed landmine row. So what is a progression to take it to the next level?
So instead of doing it with both of your arms, we're gonna go back to single arm, so one side.
Awesome.
So we're gonna set up, so instead of straddling the bar, you're just going to stand right at the end of the bar, facing one side. And what you're gonna do is hinge again with the deadlift. So Brian, you're gonna pick it up on one side, pick up the end of the bar. The further out you pick it up, the easier it'll be for you. No, the harder it'll be for you. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna hinge back.
It seems like the hip hinge is a very common thread that we've gone through with all of our
So his
exercises.
hamstrings are fired up, his back is straight, and what you're gonna do is protract the shoulders and making sure your core is tight. So what a common mistake we see here is basically when your core is weak, you rotate through, just like the unilateral carries, you have to keep your core tight.
Yep.
So set up, bring that arm down to the floor, and what you're gonna do is exhale as you pull it up to your side. So your elbow can face diagonal.
So with this
45
exercise,
degrees.
we do want our elbow out versus the other ones keeping them in. Gotcha. So that's a big difference between the two there.
So you see how his core is tight and he's not rotating through the spine.
Yeah. So make sure he's rock solid, facing one direction, not going every which way. There.
Yeah.
Okay. So the importance of the hip hinge as being a common theme that we've gone over with all of our exercises to make sure that we can set up properly, and then making sure that we keep everything nice and stable as we do this exercise one arm and we're not twisting every which way, and keeping it still as we bring it up there. So a little bit of rotational stability that it's working on as well, aside from just the single armed row.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, great.